And we're live. So we're going to get into some really good topics tonight, but first I want to thank the sponsors, Kenzies Optics, Riton Optics, Taurus USA, and of course Crossbreed Holsters. So we're going to get into some stuff tonight that's going to be really, really super cool. Not so cool, depending on where you sit and all this. But I'm excited to talk about it. Hopefully everyone had a good day yesterday, a good day today. I have all shit on my keyboard. I don't know what this is. Freaking someone ate a whole meal here. So I just posted something really interesting, but a quick reminder, if you guys want to participate in the giveaway, and Instagram's like fucking all over my shit for this, you have to head into Instagram. I mean, not Instagram. You have to head into YouTube. Head into YouTube and comment, tag, and engage in a conversation under some of the different YouTube posts. Share the YouTube posts and just have engagement under the. I'm picking the winner completely from YouTube. So I'm going to periodically give people a chance over the next couple of days and probably pick the winner Sunday. But the comments have been good. Everybody just keep up, the commenting and everything else on YouTube. So this is a crazy day. Crazy day. I'm going to get input from some people, but it's a crazy day, sports fans. Depending on where you sit on what side of the spectrum. So, long story short, the Supreme Court ruled, and my phone's been going, kind of bananas from it, so I'm just kind of trying to muscle through the day. That now the victims of the Sandy Hook can sue Remington. So that's huge, huge, huge case precedent. So what's the implications? What's the fallout? How does that affect things? So in a nutshell, they basically came down with a ruling that says, the state Supreme Court came down with a ruling that overturns the previous ruling and says Sandy Hook families can sue gun manufacturer Remington. Now, I know a lot of people, will jump to a lot of different conclusions, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of clickbait put out there. But the real reality is that's definitely a scary, scary time for precedent. And establishing precedent. Sorry. So, does that open the door next to people being able to sue the car manufacturer for the car getting hit? Does that open for the person hitting someone, with their car? Where does this all kind of unravel? Like, what's the next step? So, there's a lot of stuff in play. There's a lot of things that may or may not be because of this, and I don't want to jump to, a million conclusions. But for everybody listening on YouTube and everybody listening in real time, it's scary when that news flashes by the boards. So when people get in a drunk driving accident for being intoxicated, can they sue Bud Light? See, this is where the slippery slope starts to come about, Mr. 406. Now, I know people will say, well, that's not true, or this or that or the other thing. And they're partly right. I don't want to jump to like extremes or to like these crazy extremes like people do. But it is a slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope. So where does it go from here? How much is enough? Is it right? Is it not right? I definitely don't have all the answers on this one. I don't. To me, in the fundamental sense of suing somebody, right? So you can't. It's very hard to sue anybody today if, like, it's hard to prove a lot of things. Okay, it's tough, but when you open the door with the right lawyer, even OJ can get off. So it just comes down to money. And to me, when I look at this from 1,000 feet, I just see the attorneys getting rich. You know, I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't, you know, I'm really at a loss for words. It takes me away. I think this is like a death knell for a lot of small gun companies. I think they'll be looking at, looking at the liability. You know, the liability is going to be ridiculous. But I don't know. I don't know what to think. You know, I don't. I genuinely don't know what to think. I don't know where it goes from here. I'm definitely a little stunned. So there's definitely that. I'm a little deer in the headlights right now. Who knows what happens from here? But it opens an interesting door. So does that mean all these lawsuits can start flying around, all this crazy stuff? Probably not. It's probably not what you're going to see. You know? Yeah, I mean, Chuck, therein lies the issue. So there is a silver lining in this. It's what the argument would be. That's why I said it's very difficult. Like pretty much, give you an example, in my shoes, it's from where I sit, you still have to prove something. What are you going to prove? All you can prove is that they manufactured it. They didn't drive it. I mean, you can sue them in civil court. What's the liability? Now, again, I think the Remingtons of the world, I think certain companies will be fine, but I do believe that there's thanks, Semi-Auto Kid. There's a burden of proof there. What's the burden of proof? You know? What's the burden of proof? So it's very interesting. There's definitely a huge movement, you know, for just taking away these rights and taking away these guns and bankrupting these companies. So that's where it's at. And I don't mean to sound insensitive. I'm very careful in choosing my words here, guys, because I know how this comes off. I know how this plays out. Okay, people will say, oh, I'm insensitive to the families or this or that. It's not about that. I'm isolating one thing from the other. Yeah, but there's still a burden of proof. There still has to be a liability, is probably a better way for me to put it. A liability. It's like somebody can get off from murder, but just like in the OJ case, he can be found liable. What's the liability? So I guess I chose my words wrong, right? What's the liability? I don't know the answer. So Chuck, you know, brought up a good point. Is less of a burden of proof. He's absolutely right. So I guess what I should have said is burden of liability. You know, I don't think this will cause a panic. I don't think it's gonna. I mean, I think it just basically gives them the right to sue. It gives them the ability to sue. My phone's acting up, so I'm going to sign off from my phone, and I'm going to come back on. I think it's the Wi-Fi. So there's a lot of factors, guys. There's a bunch of factors. There's a lot of things. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows where it goes from here? But I think it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Hopefully it gets all sorted out. Hopefully there's a silver lining in all this. I don't know what. And by silver lining, I mean for the families. They get some closure if they want to present their case. You know. I don't know. Is Remington going to make it out of it? Are the families going to get closure? I don't know. I don't know the answers to any of these things. I want your thoughts. I'm very interested in what you guys have to say. But it's definitely scary. The precedent of what it establishes is scary. Do I think the families have a chance to win the case? No, because of what I was saying to Chuck. Chuck was exactly right. There's not the burden of proof, but there's still that burden of liability. What's the liability? Like, for example, if I take my backpack and I put my backpack on, right? There's nothing wrong with my backpack, passes every standard. But I decide, geez, I want to hang myself. And I leave a note, everything, and I hang myself. Can my family then sue the backpack company? No. But let's say somehow the backpack gets caught on something and they determine that it's faulty. Then there's a civil case there. It was an accident, but it was still a civil case. This is a little different, but I'm trying to draw a comparison without having a mass shooting. What they're going to have to prove is some level of liability to the manufacturer. That's true. Most of these gun companies, people have a tendency to think gun companies are incredibly rich. Let me explain something to you guys. There's not a giant markup on guns. There's a giant markup on accessories. There's not a giant markup on guns. A lot of people get into the gun game mainly, as a tax write-off initially. There's very few that are actually very profitable. Very, very few. I don't give a fuck what anybody says to me. There's very few out there that are extremely profitable. Did you call me neighbor? Hello, neighbor. So there's very few that are very profitable. What's up, Benny? The margins are tight. And even by the time a gun gets sold to a store, they're very, very tight margins. Very tight margins, guys. So I try to explain that to folks. It's not what people think. But if a store, for example, is making 5 to 10% on a gun, that's a lot. If a company is making 30% margins, that's probably right in that space. And I'm talking all in, salary, everything, what they pay their employees, everything. So there's a lot of factors, guys, on what this means. So just to remind everybody, too, because I don't want to get too far off topic, if you still want to enter the contest, you have to head to YouTube and you have to comment and you have to participate and engage in conversations on YouTube. So I'm looking for engagement, some level of engagement on YouTube, because I'm going to choose the winners off a random YouTube post. I told you I'm going to pick a winner for the Canic off a random. I have to be careful how I display this contest, guys, and I'll talk about it over the weekend and I'll do various posts. But, Instagram, everybody wants to shut you down if you talk about this stuff. So I have to be judicious about these things. So the court ruling's really interesting. It should definitely make everybody have a little bit of a moment of pause. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on a lot of this. It definitely changes the game. It makes you go through a million scenarios on what may or may not be, what could and couldn't be. And again, Chuck was right. He brought it up earlier. It's a liability play. But you still have to establish liability. I don't know how that'll be. I don't have a crystal ball of how that will play out in court. Otherwise, I probably would be, working a different job. All my go-to alt media channels are getting dumped. What does that mean? Alternative media? But which ones? I mean, give us some more feedback. So, I don't know exactly how this all plays out. I don't have my crystal ball. But it establishes a very interesting case precedent. And if they can go and they can sue Remington and they get a class action together, whatever they get together, whatever lawyers, whatever amount of people, more power to the cause, Remington may want to settle. Remington may fight. I don't know what they'll present. Yeah, right on. But again, these are all very interesting things. So it's big news today. Supreme Court, state Supreme Court, is allowing the victims of Sandy Hook to sue Remington. And just so I'm clear on this, guys, very clear, you root for everybody in this. And by that I mean, I hope and pray that there's some closure for those families, for everybody. If this is what they seek to gain closure, I hope there's some closure. We all do. I know everybody in here does. You know, but I don't think that they'll get that from this. They may get some money, but I don't think they're going to get closure. You know, they might cripple an industry. I don't know that they'll get closure. Nothing can change what happened. Nothing. You know, there's a lot of theories out there. Oh, ban the guns, ban knives, ban this. And in case you haven't noticed, over in Europe right now, they have an insane crime spree right now with knives. And I do agree with you, Adirondack Knifesmith. It's a big time agenda play. I don't disagree with you. As many of you know, I have some friends. Some of them are high profile. One alluded to that very same deal. It's an agenda, okay? There's a lot of agenda in play, but this is blockbuster news. Not just for the firearms business, but across the spectrum. It opens a lot of funky doors. What's up from the beaches of Florida? I wish I could take a vacation. Yeah, the mayor of London banned knives. That won't, I mean, that's ridiculous. You can get a knife at a restaurant. You know, that's one of the more ridiculous plays. But so, again, it's a scary time. It's a very interesting time. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Again, my heart goes out to the families. My heart goes out to anybody and everybody involved. But I don't think this is how they get closure. I don't think this is the play. But we'll see what happens. Stranger things have happened. Cassie says, it's a tool used by shitty people. Sue that shitty people, not the company who make tools. Makes no sense. Yeah, I know what you're getting at, Cass. I know what you're getting at. You're not wrong. It's a tactic. You know, I'm sure some of these lawyers, some of these people involved, you know, they're looking for a payday. They're looking for someone to pay. They're looking for you know, a pay play. And, you know, I'm sure of it. And it is what it is. But, you know, it's interesting enough. I was happy to get on here and get all you guys' thoughts. So I'm hoping everybody in here still wants a chance to win the Canic. If you want to win the Canic, you have to head over to YouTube, guys. You have to head over to YouTube, comment, tag, and share on YouTube if you want to win. So if you want a chance to win the Canic, I need as much activity over on YouTube. The more you share, the more you care. Comment, tag under as many different things as you can. Engage in conversation. And that's how you get a chance to win. I'm going to pick the winner off YouTube. To kind of change gears for a second, and we'll come back to this. We can come back to it. I think you're beefy ADD big bro. Attention deficit disorder? Yes. So, change gears real quick. I want to thank everybody for participating so far. And I want to thank everybody for all the support, all the help. It's much appreciated. Dude, you're making it weird. But I did release my top 5 products I found on Kickstarter. That video has been long overdue. I've been editing that forever. So if you get a chance, check that out. Cassie's pistol's done. Major announcement. Cassie, I want to just say that Dark Alliance Firearms, if you guys haven't checked out Dark Alliance Firearms, they did an awesome job. They did an awesome job on Cassie's pistol. Really slick. Really slick. So, super excited to see that. It's going to be a really nice piece. He's amazing. Cassie, that's something you'll keep forever. You really, if you're not a fan for life now, Cassie, I don't know what'll make you a fan for life. I did take the backdrop down. I'm moving some stuff around in here. Getting some things going. I got a lot of stuff on my plate. And these are just housekeeping items. I want to make sure you guys thank all the sponsors, Taurus USA, Kenzies Optics, Riton Optics, and Crossbreed Holsters. And of course, you got to, because these were part of the giveaway, one of the companies Cassie benefited from. Make sure you thank Taurus especially. Yeah, make sure you thank them. Super generous. And to everybody, I know this is like episode 33. I meant to do something really nice around 30 episodes. I'm trying to do this almost like a Project 100 and get about 100 of these done to keep delivering you guys as much information. I'm working on an ebook. So an ebook is coming. I'm working on some content that'll be kind of behind the page. A lot of people have asked me recently about YouTube. I did a thing on it the other day that kind of got cut in and out about, why YouTube and some of the things I'm doing. A few people along the way, Cassie included, have asked how to support the show. So if it's something you want to support, again, guys, I don't do this stuff to get rich. I'm not doing it to get rich off of you guys for sure. So the ebook, the initial ebook's going to be on marketing. So I'm going to do, a lot of people ask me, Mr. 406, about how to get, from one point to another with social media. So I don't like to say from like 0 to 1 million, like that's not where I'm at. But a lot of people try to understand the game. So I wanted to do like a top 10 ebook that was like top 10, best practices. So that's kind of where I'm at. I wanted to just have something that was a very basic feeder system. And we're going to do more YouTubes on the marketing stuff and everything else because I get the most, to be honest with you guys, I get a lot of DMs about fitness. I get tons of messages about fitness. I get tons of messages about marketing. And I get tons of messages about how people can market themselves. So a lot of the questions are like around that. And I've sat with a lot of people locally and through the years and walked them step by step. So It's John Bartolo, www.johnbartoloshow.com. I don't know what page that is, Chuck. But I sell shirts, I sell hats. I'm putting a lot of that stuff out there. This is all of this is a project that's been long overdue, guys. I've been trying to put this together for a long time. This isn't something that just happened, in an hour. I don't know what that is. But this isn't something that just kind of happened, overnight. So a little bit of housekeeping on that. All of these different things that I've launched in the last 30, 60 days have been like long overdue. I've been trying to get to them for a long time. And if you go back to the beginning when I recorded some of my first episodes, some of my first different YouTubes and different podcasts, I had done it like 6 months ago. I just tabled a lot of it because I was on to other projects and I just had my hands in too much shit. So lately I've been getting back to getting this stuff launched and getting this stuff cranked out. So I want to do an ebook to answer your question, and I'm working on it in pieces. I'm working on it with a writer that's helping me edit it and clean it up. That's more of like a workbook that somebody can order that's not that expensive, and they can follow step by step some keys to success with it. And then I want to do a couple of corresponding videos that you can buy a video package. That'll be 3 or 4 videos that'll kind of lay out a game plan, and they'll give you the why behind a lot of it. So it'll be something like 3 or 4 videos that'll go with it. Because a lot of it's born out of, friends I've worked with through the years. I'm thinking about Amazon, Chuck, but I might just do it on the website direct. I'll save a bigger one because it's going to be more of a manuscript. By and large, for something like this, I'd like it to be more of like a workbook style where you can go through it and it's like a top 10 and maybe it has, 5,000 words, something like that. Not necessarily a full book, but something you can go into my website, access, read, break down for yourself and follow. And I'm comparing this and I'm doing a lot of this. There's a lot of guys out there that talk about real estate as a side hustle. They talk about real estate. I want to get into real estate. And for some people, real estate's not for them. But they want to get into social media marketing or media marketing or things like that. So I wanted to create something that answered a lot of people's questions that I get asked and helped give them a little bit of guidance on topics, things to talk about, things to do, ways to self-develop, those types of things. So hopefully it'll make sense to a lot of people. I think that it will, because I'm ridiculously I ridiculously made it simple. I keep simplifying it. I keep making it more and more simple. And whether it's you want to make $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, or $10,000 a month, this will work into that. And it'll give you some guidance, some insight. Hey, you should look at things this way. You should look at things that way. You should look at posting this way. You should look at sharing this way. You should look at, it'll give you some tips and secrets and some of the different paths to follow. Okay. And it might be, give you some insight into me, because as I said before, a lot of people don't fully realize how many brands I've worked for through the years, how many companies, how many different things. And I spend a lot of time, Cassie, to answer your question, talking to people about side hustles, how to make money from home, things like that, how to work from home and stuff like that. So a lot of where this will come from will be built around side hustle, and for some people, the side hustle turns into a full-time job. So I wanted to let you guys know what was coming, and why I'm doing this and, what's going on. And for some of you guys, I'll give some of them away free. I absolutely will. I'll do some for free. But I think that there's a lot of opportunity out there, and there's never been a better time than now to participate in some of this stuff. Obviously, fitness becomes like one of the easier ones because it's so out there, and everybody's so involved in it, and it's just one of those things. So I hope it's what you guys want, but it gets very hard for me, and I know Tony goes through this, a lot of people go through this, it gets very hard for me to do this stuff day in, day out, week in and week out, and answer DMs and stuff like that, because I'm trying to do a brain dump on you guys on the last 10 years, and that's almost impossible. So I have to put it into a workbook. I have to put it into, something that's formatted a little bit better. But hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And it's what you want, because I want to give you what you want. So again, to answer and give you some of the housekeeping stuff, people have asked me how to support. There is a Patreon. I don't advertise the Patreon like crazy. A few of you have found it and donated $1 or $2 or $5. There's a few $5 ones in there. Thank you. Whether you decide to give for 1 month, 3 months, or 5 months, I appreciate it. Again, a lot of that has to do with the cost of packages, shipping guns, shipping, gear that I send to you guys. I mean, I was racking up, as I said, $40, $50 a week and shipping stuff up. So I'm trying to eat into that a little bit. So I took a break from shipping a couple of prizes. I have more prizes I want to give away till I build that up just a little bit. And I'll do a couple of Patreon-only prizes to make it worth you guys' while that are Patreons. I did the website. The website offers shirts, hats, and I'll probably eventually have a couple of shirts on there and a couple hats. Nothing crazy. Yeah. So just some of those things are just things that kind of fuel this and keep it moving forward. It's not meant to be, anything crazy. I'm not trying to make it anything crazy. So I appreciate all you guys that support and participate. But I wanted to hop on here tonight. Yeah. I'm going to do some logo shirts. I'm going to get to the logo. I'm going to do that for sure. I'm going to do a couple of different shirts. Patriotic shirts. Okay. Yeah, if you guys have feedback and there's stuff that you want, let me know. Let me know. I'll do my best to get it cranked out. I wanted to do some podcast stuff, some different stuff. I'm trying to just get some stuff done. Little by little. Yeah, I don't know if that's patented, Will, to do your job, but I'm going to get some of that stuff up. It's coming. It's all coming. I wrote some of the ideas down. So as you guys give me ideas, I'm going to get some of that stuff out. So I appreciate it. If you have feedback, the more feedback you have, the better. I appreciate it. But hopefully a lot of that stuff, you guys are able to support. As I see you guys supporting more and more, I'll get more stuff out. But it takes a little bit of support. The Patreon's good. Yep. Any of those. So hopefully everybody, understands that stuff's coming. If you have questions or there's something specific you want to see, let me know. I wrote a bunch of your ideas down. I just typed up a bunch of them. Yep. No, I agree, Chuck. I agree 100%. So that covers the housekeeping items. Long story short, it's Thursday. I'm going to give you guys, all of you in here, a leg up, and everybody who listens and shares and participates, a leg up on the Canic. If you want a chance to win the Canic, you have to participate on YouTube. Participate on YouTube. Head over to my last post, whatever the last post is, and comment "done" when you do. So I know who's eligible, and I know who's entered. I'm going to do a series of quick lives and different stuff over the course of the week and the weekend. Okay? And give you guys updates. And then I'm going to pick a winner. It's going to be plain and simple. I'm going to pick a winner. So you have to stay active on it. Okay? As active as you can. If you tune in, you participate, you stay engaged. Stay as engaged as you can on YouTube. You'll be as eligible as anybody. You'll have a chance to win. As far as the Supreme Court ruling goes and all that stuff, we're going to see. The plot's going to thicken. But hopefully, everybody kind of stays steadfast, understands what it is, understands what it isn't. In my time in this business, I don't know how it'll all shake out. I don't have the answer. I really don't. I wish I did. I don't. It's a little scary. It certainly doesn't look good on the surface. It opens a lot of crazy doors. But we'll see where it goes from here. If you're going to be at NRA, I'm going to probably do an NRA specific show this weekend. I'll probably talk a little bit about the NRA show. So to whoever is going to be at NRA, and whoever is going to be heading out to Indianapolis for that weekend, I will more than likely be out that way. What I will be doing, where I will be, I'm going to be all over the place. I'll get you guys some updates on some of that. Those of you that are heading out there, I hope to see you guys. I hope to run into everyone. It'd be pretty cool if you guys do head out. If you can't head out, I'm sorry. Maybe next time. If you get the chance, do live while there. I'll probably do a few. To answer your question, it's a good question, Chuck. Do a live while I'm there. I'll probably do a live while I'm there. There'll be some lives. There'll be some stuff. What that'll be and how that'll be and how that'll play out. I got some equipment. I'm going to be able to do a few things. But I definitely want you guys to let me know if you attend. It's a great show. It's my favorite show. I'm going to talk more about it on I'll talk more about it on Sunday, I think. Talk a little bit about it because it'll be a month out. It's about a month out. So I'll probably get into it a little bit Sunday and talk and get into that. I do want to thank everybody on iTunes and Podbean that's participated. Just to give everybody an idea, it's been super helpful. And I know at the end of the week, usually I do a little bit of a wrap, so it's Thursday, so I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of understanding where everything's at. But I know everybody's anxious to participate in the Canic giveaway, and I know everybody's anxious to hear about the Supreme Court decision. So I wanted to kind of get live, get into that a little bit before I got to some of the housekeeping stuff. I'll be available to everyone Sunday. I don't know what time I'll do a live. I'll probably do a live at some point Sunday. And then we'll be back to the regular schedule. And eventually I want to get to a point where I have a schedule published. Make sure you check out some of the new videos on YouTube. On YouTube I have a top 5 Kickstarter one that's cool. I have an Enforce Weapon Lights review that's cool. And I have the Canic contest one. That's cool. That might be a wise one to pay attention to and share. Yeah, it'll probably be later in the day, Cassie. More than likely. More than likely. But to everybody who's participated, who's been involved, can't thank you guys enough. It means a lot. It means a lot. And I'm going to be excited for whoever wins the Canic. I was excited to see Cassie's pistol today. I was super excited about that. I thought that was freaking badass. I didn't expect to see an update on it so quickly. But Jeremy was able to crank out a cool picture. And I thought he did an awesome job. So people do win these contests. They do take home the prizes. Cassie will attest to that. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than we want it to, but people do win. And I'm sure everybody in here at some points won something or gotten something sent to them. So, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody's involvement. And I know I have some Vortex stuff. I got some other stuff. I got some bags. I got a few things I'm going to get to. And I'm working on getting you guys some content. Cassie's been lucky because she's won some big ones. But the big ones sometimes take a little longer. So people do win the prizes. They do take the prizes home. I don't touch a lot of the prizes. So in my own defense, I might have shirts, mags, hats, little things. I don't keep a lot of the big prizes. So Cassie will tell you, and a few people will tell you, it's not me sending out the stuff. You got me hooked on the popcorn. Good. It's better than crack. Companies you want to see in contests. If I've been trying for a long time to see if Joe Rogan would get somebody from the gun industry, somebody who's really